The Boston Celtics secure a bounce-back win, 145-113, to keep their home win streak alive at 19-0, and they had a fantastic performance offensively compared to their last game. The Boston Celtics had fantastic performances from Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Jayson, Tatum, and even on the bench, we had great performances from guys like Sam Hauser, Payton, Pritchard, and Oshae Brissett. We're going to be breaking down this fantastic post-game analysis and reactions to this Celtics win. Welcome back to Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. But before we dive into any Boston Celtics content, I would like to say that roughly right around 80% of our viewers are not subscribed, and we'd greatly appreciate it if you guys hit that big old red subscribe button and join the Celtics Digest family. We're getting closer and closer to our goal of 3,000 subscribers, and we can't do it without your guys' help. So if you guys want to make sure you stay up to date on daily Boston Celtics content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as you definitely will not regret it. But let's dive into this post-game analysis, so make sure to grab a snack, as today's episode is going to be jam-packed as we dive in looking at the Celtics keeping their home win streak alive. And last time, this Boston Celtics won at home. They got the franchise record of 18-0 at home for their win streak. They just boosted that up to 19, getting a successful victory versus the Houston Rockets. Ime Udoka's first time back in Boston, and the Celtics absolutely obliterated this Rockets team. The Rockets come off a back-to-back, and we'll break down the analysis before we get into the stats. But I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on tonight's game as well, so leave them in the comments down below. But the Boston Celtics obviously had a little bit of rest after that Milwaukee Bucks game. They wanted to bounce back, and they definitely did that tonight. The Houston Rockets coming off a back-to-back playing the Pistons last night. They were off a rocky start, and the Boston Celtics came out on fire. Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis helping out this offense in the first quarter, with Jayson Tatum absolutely shooting lights out tonight for the Boston Celtics in the first half. Then once we got to the second half, it was completely Jaylen Brown's turn to dominate, as he absolutely demolished, dropping 21 points in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, the Celtics were up 30 points, let the bench play out the rest of the game. We saw some good moments from Payton Pritchard, Oshae Brissett, and a bunch of other guys to break down. But let's dive into the team stats. As you guys can see, the Boston Celtics shot terribly versus the Milwaukee Bucks, only putting up around 38 points versus them in the first half. And tonight they absolutely completely dominated, shooting around 56% from the field, 55% from three, compared to the Houston Rockets' 26% and 40%. They also shot a little bit worse from the free throw, but that is a-okay. Shot 74% because they shot tremendous warehouses. Boston Celtics out-rebounded the Houston Rockets 43-36 and out-rebounded them by 1 offensive rebound and 8 total defensive rebounds. Celtics had 8 more assists, 4 more blocks, same amount of steals, 1 less turnover, less points in the paint by 16. That's where the Houston Rockets dominated their scoring, and the Celtics had 1 less foul. From the Houston Rockets standpoint, they did score a lot in the paint, but the Celtics' threes were just falling for them, like I mentioned in the beginning. And we'll be breaking down, looking at the Celtics' individual stats. Like I mentioned, the Jays shot tremendous tonight, and the Rockets could not stop them defensively. The Rockets are a great offensive team, not the greatest defensive, being a little bit younger, so the Celtics were able to dominate them. Therefore, Jayson Tatum, 9 for 17 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3. Like I said, those threes were rolling in the beginning. 5 for 7 from the free throw, 8 total rebounds, 5 total assists, with 1 steal and 1 block, finishing with 27 points. Kristaps Porzingis, one of the lighter games out of the big three, finished still with 17, 6 for 11 from the field, was dominating the paint in the beginning, and then stretched out and hit some threes, 3 for 5, 2 for 2 from the field with 7 total rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks, being a total defensive force. Same thing with Jaylen Brown, putting up 2 blocks of his own with 32 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 6 total rebounds, 6 for 10 from the free throw, 4 for 6 from 3, and 11 for 15 from 3 from the field. Jaylen Brown, when he is getting going, he can deliver from that 3-point range, and he's an X factor for this team. Jrue Holiday and Derrick White put up 11 and 13, played great as well. Jrue Holiday 4 for 10, Derrick White 5 for 9 from the field. Jrue Holiday putting up 6 rebounds, 3 assists, helping out. Derrick White putting up 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 rebounds. Derrick White hitting some alright shots at the Celtics. A little slow start for him. He had some opportunities to make some big buckets in the first quarter to start off the game, and he missed on those, but then he started to hit some shots later on. When we look at the bench, though, we can obviously see Sam Hauser 2 for 8 from the field, 2 for 9 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3, but 6 big rebounds and 6 total points with a plus 20, playing some great defense. Oshae Brissett, 2 for 2 from the field in 9 minutes, 1 for 1 from 3 with 4 total rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 5 total points. Horford played some big minutes, 2 for 3 from the field, 1 for 2 from free throw with 7 total points and 4 rebounds. And Payton Pritchard had another monstrous performance like he did with the Milwaukee Bucks when he dominated the fourth quarter, putting up 21. He put up 19, 7 for 10 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw with 4 assists and 4 rebounds. We want to look at the Houston Rockets to show how impactful their players were. They were back and forth in the first quarter, but after that, the Celtics started to pull away once their threes started hitting, and the Rockets could not score. Rockets playing a little bit of a 5-out at some point, and it wasn't working for them with Sengun not being on the court. Sengun had a big game for them, obviously 10 rebounds, 19 points, 8 for 17 from the field, which was a big thing for them. Jabari Smith shot a little bit too much for them, finished with 9 points, 4 for 11. Dillon Brooks, not the biggest outing. They just didn't have their shots falling. Jalen Green, 3 for 9. Fred VanVleet, 2 for 6. And Ben Thompson, 3 for 10. Jeff Green, 3 for 5. Cam Whitmore did have an impactful game off the bench, 7 for 13 from the field with 22 total points and 7 total rebounds. And he's been kind of a spark plug for them, for this bench unit, with some of their wings being out in Tari Eason. But him and Sengun were the only ones really to show up offensively, where the Boston Celtics kind of had a night where the Milwaukee Bucks had versus them a couple nights ago, where they were just firing from all cylinders. All their guys were really gelling, and like I mentioned in the beginning, they wanted this bounce-back win. Celtics, if they lose their games, it's A-okay. It's nothing to freak out. They are humans. They can mess up. It's nothing to worry about. But the one thing that I want to make sure stays intact is this home record. And I want to know your guys' have some opinions about that too, because I think if the Celtics can keep this franchise record, keep going, it can be like it was with the San Antonio Spurs in like where they had their big record. And hopefully the Celtics can get to that as well. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this game from the Boston Celtics, as it was a fantastic win from the franchise tonight, as they kind of capitalized on a big streak. They had a lot of big games in the last couple. They obviously played. They had some later games versus Utah and a big blowout win versus the Rockets, but they had the back-to-back versus Minnesota and Milwaukee. They also had their back-to-back in Indiana. And the Celtics will be cooling off with some lighter games in the future in the end of January, playing against the San Antonio Spurs, playing against the Pistons, playing against the Raptors. So hopefully for the Celtics team, they can generate some more wins, gain a little bit more traction in this Eastern Conference, and as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline, finalize what their real roster is going to be going into the playoffs, and finding out who are going to be the key contributors for this team on the bench. Once the Celtics figure out all of that and they figure out who they are going to have and trust with, then I think this team will be ready to go and buy in for the playoffs and will be a true contender for the championship. But like I mentioned, let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this blowout win as the Celtics bounce back in a guaranteed win versus the Houston Rockets. Ime Udoka, so sorry that you couldn't have a blessed return when you came back, but the Celtics get you in the best of this. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Celtics Digest, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.